welcome to episode number 12 of the podcast. Today is a little bit of a different episode because we're going to talk about investing and not startup investing, but investing in the stock market. The episode can teach you tips and insights from somebody that has decades of experience in it and is quite successful in it by now. And yeah, let me know what you think about it, and I will see you in the episode.
In the way, education knowledge is important.
Yeah.
Because if you, after your graduation, no matter you get a master degree, bachelor degree, you go to work for a job, then it's very likely you tend to be a middle income person.
Yeah.
As a middle income person, you don't have a good life.
Yeah.
It's just somewhere is better than others, that's all.
Yeah.
But all the middle income people they are stressed for money. I noticed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
Then it's not good. Okay. So therefore, you need to do investment or something to get yourself out of that kind of situation.
Yeah.
So then investment is just one of the ways.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I would say knowledge is important. But not a shallow one, but a deeper one.
So would you say the knowledge that is taught in schools or a different kind of knowledge?
Both at school and different kinds, but at a school, it's mostly, it's about more academic. But this academic is tricky also.
Yeah, because it's preparing you for the middle class.
No, that's not what I mean. Okay. What I mean is the content is tricky.
Okay.
Yeah, the content, because unfortunately, as an undergrad or as a master student, probably you don't know. It's hard for you to differentiate what is really useful, what is not, what is controversial, what is, it's difficult for undergrad to judge. Because you read a book, okay, that's what the book says.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, for example, like me, when I read it, I have my judgment.
Yeah.
Okay. I say, okay, this part is good, that part I don't think is anything useful, or even wrong, or even confusing, or I disagree.
Yeah.
But it would be difficult for an undergrad to make that kind of judgment, to say,
For
okay,
sure.
this, that, right? So you just tend to take it, but you need to digest first. And then after digestion, you already graduated, and then for a long time, and then you need to come back to school, and then to think creatively, and then to make judgment again, this thing, so. But anyway, still, but the point is that the fundamental theory is still important.
Yeah.
Okay, the basic things, you need to have a very clear idea.
Yeah.
Okay? So not just about economics or business, but also it's about political economy. That is constantly changing, so you need to update your knowledge.
Yeah.
Once you have these two dimensions, then you sort of can make some kind of a judgment. Then you can maybe do some kind of investment.
Yeah.
But then even in the field of investment is tricky. Because there are different ways, different sayings, different theories, so to speak. Okay?
Yeah.
Technical analysis, there's that, this, so it's actually very confusing.
I know.
The more you study, the more confused you are.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Technical analysis, there are 1,000 ways. Okay. The more you study this index, that index, and this and that, Williams something, and you just totally lost.
And do you have any advice to get an overview for yourself?
Well, see, the point is, I would say still it is important for the basics. The most important is you need to have the deep understanding of the basics of things.
Mm-hmm.
Technical analysis, it's also, it has to be built on the fundamentals for technical analysis also. Okay?
Yeah.
So you need to go back to the most fundamentals. I would say this is the most reliable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for example, personally, I only look at the price and quantity. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. That's it. I look at price and quantity. Okay. So I look at these two dimensions.
And how did it actually start for you? How did you get into investing, and in what age?
Well, investing, I'm naturally, because everybody needs financial freedom,
Yeah.
right? So it's kind of a natural to try to make some I invest in Hong Kong when I was in Hong Kong. Luckily, Hong Kong was very good and actually very easy to make money. No, it's not that easy also, I should not say, because this investment not only has something related to knowledge, but also very important is the personality.
Mm.
If you don't have the personality, you cannot invest.
And what's the personality?
You have to be very rational.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Some people, it's very difficult for them to be very rational. You have to be very rational and very patient for the long term. And these are nothing to do with knowledge. These are something to do with personalities. And a lot of people just cannot do it. Yeah. Because they don't have the personalities.
Yeah.
They're emotional. They don't have the patience to hold on to very long, or they tend to be panicking and things like that. So these are personalities. So it's difficult. You need all these elements. And even that, it doesn't mean you will be successful. That's why 70% to 80% of the small investors, they lose, they don't gain. And once you lose, and maybe you don't know what's the reason behind it, and you try again, you lose again, then you quit. Because it's possible you try 3 times, you lose everything. That's also possible. So therefore the thing is not that easy.
And then what kind of strategy did you pursue from?
Well, like I say, it is really the most fundamentals. I think I have a good training in economics. Okay, the fundamental, even though I'm not an economist.
Yeah.
But I have my own view at least. Okay, I have my own view about something I think is worthwhile, is true. Something may not be good. I think it's useless. It's a waste of time. Because I'm not an economist, and I don't do that kind of research. I'm sort of more like independent of, because in the sense they are just part of in the knowledge bank. Okay, so I do not count on it for to make a living or do anything, nothing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because I do the research of different kinds. It's a different issue, but the fundamental understanding of the economics, like exchange rate, for example, some the government policy, some macro dimensions, the interest rate, and all this, some fundamental understanding, both micro and macro, fundamental understanding that you need to have. Otherwise, it's difficult. And then you need to be very knowledgeable about what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
for example, this negative interest rate, what does that mean? And things like that. Also, like you need to have knowledge about this. For example, China is changing, in which direction, and what happens, politics-wise, economy-wise. These are keep on updating, right? So you need to update your knowledge bank in a sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So therefore, you need all these things.
And then from starting as an investor, were you doing that full time, or was it always kind of a side job?
It's a side job because I'm a professor, so I need to read. I need to update my knowledge for teaching also.
Okay.
So then it just on the side. Yeah.
But it makes most of your income.
I would say my financial freedom is not dependent on salary.
Okay.
I would say that. Yeah. If you count on salary, then you are middle income. Then what can you do? You have to calculate your money. I need to buy a house, how much? I need to eat, how much? I need to travel. Forget about how much. You know, you need to have this freedom.
And you also said investing is just one way to get to this financial freedom.
Yeah.
Do you think there are other interesting ways to reach it?
Well, investment is a very big topic. Some people do in the real estate, some people in the stock, some people in this, some people in that. Even in the stock, there are macro investors. Some people do exchange rate. Some people do commodities. Some people do this. So there are different ways. That's what I mean. Because investment is such a big word. Some people do real estate.
Okay. Yeah.
You know.
But basically, financial freedom has always some kind of connection with a financial investment.
I think so. Yeah, you have to. But you need to have luck. You need to have good judgment. You need to have personality. So that's why it's not easy for financial freedom for most people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
Definitely.
It is. It's a case. It's just not easy. But that's the only way to not to be the middle income unless you inherit a lot of money from your parents. Otherwise, if you're middle income, I don't know about in Germany, but I don't think it's that good of a life also.
I mean, financially free is just not the right word to describe it. I think you can live comfortably if you have a middle income, and you also can have a good and happy life, but you're not financially free.
Yeah, that's right. But what I'm saying is, I guess what I'm saying is financial freedom. What I mean to say is, let's say, I don't mean to do anything lavish or extravagant. But what I mean to say is, when it's really come to something you like to do, then you don't have to worry about money. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I think that's something everybody wants to reach.
Yeah, when you want to do something, really want, as long as it's not something like lavish, you want to buy an airplane, there's a different issue. Right? But if you want to do something you really like, you want to go somewhere to travel, you want to fly, you feel tired, you want to fly business class, something like that's what I mean. You can do it. You don't have to think about, you don't have to worry about money. I don't mean to say every day you travel around the world, you take the first class. That's not what I mean. I know some people do that. They have enough money, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, okay, you can take economy if it's within 4 hours, but if it's beyond 4 hours, you feel you're tired, you can take, you don't have to think. You don't have to worry, how much money this month is towards the end and things like that.
I'm also just thinking about day trading because there's a lot of it's quite a controversial topic.
Yes.
And some people say it's basically impossible. Some people say it's the biggest secret in the world. And I just wanted to know what's your opinion about day trading?
Well, basically, I don't think it's a good idea because these things, let's say, for example, okay, it's the fundamental thing, okay. I guess I don't have the fundamentals of this day trading, but my hypothesis is that you need some technology, meaning you have to do it very fast.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I don't know. I'm not equipped with that. In other words, I think somebody in the world must be much faster than me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to compete on the speed because this is not my full-time job.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't think I have the advantage. That's number one. Number two, if you do day trading, then the transaction costs tend to be very high. Okay. Then you need to have very good judgment, or you need to have some kind of a mechanism, some kind of a formula to do it. But I don't believe in the formula. Okay.
You
Because
believe in
I don't believe in the formula. Because if you have a formula, I believe somebody else will have the formula.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't believe in the formula.
Yeah.
Okay? Or soon they will have it better than you. Okay? Unless you're a big fund, or but obviously this is not suitable for individual small investors now. So you have to count on your ability. That means your knowledge.
Yeah.
And the things I just talked about.
Yeah.
So if you do day trading, there's other dimensions could involve. It takes a lot of time, and then maybe speed counts, and then you have to compete with other people with the speed, and then I don't know what else are involved in this fundamental. You need to have very good judgment and react very quickly, and every day do this. I don't think it's interesting. Also, it's not an interesting job. If you updating your knowledge, could be interesting, but if you're sitting at a computer every day doing this, and then I don't think life is interesting that way. So therefore, I don't do day trading.
How much time do you waste in a week in the investing?
Well, investing, and because I'm a business professor, so it's together kind of a thing,
That's true.
So because of this, is fortunate. I don't have to separate the two. Because it's part of, in the sense,
That
part
makes
of the
sense.
job.
Yeah.
So I need to understand what's going on.
And I'm 22 years old.
Yeah.
I'm a student. I don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, and my knowledge of the world is, I would say it's decent, but it can be more deep, definitely. So, if I want to start investing, or somebody like me, what advice would you give, and what kind of roadmap would you suggest?
Okay. Actually, I think what I talked about is already something is like a roadmap. In other words, you need to understand to be a successful investor, you need to have the personality. If you don't have that, then you should not probably don't do it, because you're a small investor. You just count on yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't have the basic personality, primarily you don't have the patience. You don't have the long-term view. You're not rational enough. Then you're not suitable. If you don't have that personality, you should forget about it.
Okay.
In addition to that, you need to be a deep thinker. Okay, and in terms of fundamental understanding about some theory. Okay,
Yeah.
actually they are not complicated, because things supposed to be very simple anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so they are simple actually, and you don't need to, because you're not academic. You don't need to do anything complicated. A lot of complicated things are useless anyway.
Yeah.
But you need to understand what is fundamental, but that needs a good education. Unfortunately or fortunately, you need a good education. You need to have a good professor, a good book, good education to have your own view, to know the fundamentals, or smart enough, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay? Then you need to update your knowledge constantly. You know what's going on in the world, or at least in the area that you invest in. You need to know the things.
Yeah.
So as long as you have these three elements, then it's okay. Otherwise, it will be difficult.
Okay. And do you think there's a certain amount of capital or income you should have to start investing?
No, but I would say, of course, it matters because, uh, well, I guess I was fortunate because I was always a high income person. Not very high, but uh, pretty high. My income was pretty high, always, unless it's not now.
Yeah.
Okay, but before. Okay.
Okay.
My income has always been pretty high.
Yeah.
So therefore, I can invest with my salary from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because it's a lump sum. It's not like every month 1,000. No, it's not like that. So and then maybe lucky enough at that time market was good. So in the ways you gradually accumulate. You know, good decision, bad decision, but you have to learn from your mistakes also. I do it by myself, and I make some very stupid mistakes. But anyway, otherwise it'll be much better. But very stupid mistake. But anyway, still okay. I'm still okay. So I think I have some basic freedom. I do not count on the salary. Like I said, I don't do things very lavishly, but if I wanted to do things, I can do it.
Yeah. And in our course, we talk a lot about Asia, especially, and how fast it's changing and how it might affect the whole world. And you usually say that the situation might not turn out that well for Europe. And do you have any advice on young people like me, how we can actually turn that situation around to actually have a good effect or avoid it?
Well, I used to have a German student, and he's actually smart, and I guess he's even among Germans. I think I understand Germans are pretty what was the word? That work hard and very diligent, and also pretty strict. He has all these qualities. So I think even among Germans, he's a high standard one. Okay, he's a smart person too. Okay? So he's very capable also. So I think Germany, I think maybe it's no problem because I think education and all that probably is not too bad. But my feeling about the rest of Europe is a bit different. Okay, probably because I teach here and then the students are from all different places, and I feel many of them are not qualified, not good students. Okay, I don't know about the quality of other professors, but anyway, in general, I think the European education may not be very good. Also, students, the quality, I mean, maybe because it's really like sort of like a very relaxed, lack of discipline, and then it's like, I mean, it's like a very relaxed kind of a thing. Okay? Yeah. If you're very smart, you can be relaxed, but if you're just an ordinary person, at least you need to have some discipline.
Yeah.
And I feel Europe is sort of lacking that, So, and also I think Europe is depending on Germany a lot. But I don't think Germany is doing that well recently. I think it's okay, but it's not great, anything great.
Yeah.
And recently it's not doing that well. And I don't know in the future because technology-wise, innovation, Germany is known for its industrial, how to say, work hard with stringent this standard and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
But when it comes to innovation, maybe yes, but maybe not.
Yeah.
So count on automotive industry, the things, and I don't know, But the rest of the Europe, I was in Portugal. I think Portugal is poor. Okay? I was in Italy. I think Italy is poor. I don't think Europe is anything better than, let's say, Japan, Taiwan. I don't know. Korea is also kind of in trouble, but anyway, I think it's pretty. It's kind of. I don't feel Europe is anything. Of course, U.S. also, but U.S. is a bigger place, more spacious, easy to live, or may not be that easy also. I don't know. Because the insurance of this is very high. It's not easy for the United States also.
Yeah.
But in general, I don't feel Europe is very competitive. It may be competitive, but I don't see it's like very competitive. It's like ahead of everybody.
And as an individual, what advice would you give to stay competitive, to stay like on top of the European Union?
Individual country or individual person?
Person.
Well, I guess as undergrad, you need to have good education. You try to learn as much as you can. You try to be serious, and hopefully you can get to the bottom of the knowledge rather than the superficial level. Hopefully you're smart enough to know what is useful, what is not useful, what is a camouflage, what is the real thing. And this, you need some luck, and you need to have some good university, good professors, good book, to achieve that, and good attitude. But basically, if you have a good attitude, at least you are middle income or higher middle, then still okay. Higher middle is okay. It's not too bad. As long as you have the right attitude. Then you may not be super rich, but I think higher level in middle income is possible.
Yeah.
Then you still have a good life.
Do you think attitude is more important than knowledge?
Well, no, these are two different dimensions, but you don't have attitude, then you forget about everything.
Yeah. Okay. Anything you still want to add from your personal experience, especially for like people in my age, for the coming centuries?
I think. Well, I think again two things, because your generation is facing the dynamics of changes. So, in other words, attitude has become even more important because you need to be adaptive. So you need to have a serious attitude.
Yeah.
Because things are constantly changing, you need to be serious about it.
Yeah.
That's number one. That's an attitude thing. Number two is you need to be deep thinker, so that you know what is happening, not just at the superficial level. You need to understand what's happening, because a lot of things are happening, technology-wise and so on. So you need to know what's happening. But as long as you have a serious attitude, you're okay, smart enough, at least not stupid, then it's okay. I think you will be able to manage along the way. Yeah. So the rest is really depending on many different dimensions and factors. Your luck also sometimes.
Yeah.
Where you receive your education, who you encounter with, and and so on, the things.
Yeah. And the last question.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about good books to read.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you want to recommend?
Let me think. Okay, when I say good books, I guess I mean the more like a fundamental books about, for example, economics, finance, business, this kind of thing.
Mm.
The fundamentals.
Yeah.
Actually, they are everywhere, you know, and you know some books may be popular. You can tell yourself.
Yeah.
But the key point is you need to have the ability to get the things out. I guess that's the most important.
Mm.
You're not going to follow everything.
Yeah.
Most important thing is you need to get something that you think, okay, you have your own view. This also will depend on your communication with your colleagues, with the professors, with other people.
Yeah.
So you know, oh, this thing is useful. Oh, this thing can be interpreted this way. But the fundamental books are everywhere, and then some good books you can tell actually is okay, it's good, not too bad.
Mm.
And then something useful. The things. For example, like even the textbooks, right? You know that some are popular.
Yeah.
But you can get 2 or 3, and then because I guess my point is what you need to get out of the book is the fundamentals. They are in most of the books, the basic books, but you need to get the fundamentals out. Whether you have the ability to get it out or not. You know? And some books are better than others. I think you can tell.
Yeah. Okay. Then thanks a lot for the information. I hope the episode could give some cool insights to you and could maybe make you a bit more excited about investing, because obviously the earlier you get into it the better, but also don't do anything stupid. Educate yourself a bit more than just over this episode before you really put money in it. But I hope you enjoyed this bit of a different topic, which I'm interested in myself right now. And in the next episode, I'm going to talk with the freelancer from Silicon Valley. So if that sounds interesting to you, I hope you're tuning in again then. See you then. Bye bye.